My unit, salute! Amped Up Friday, Feb 28, 2025. 24 hours away from the Elimination Chamber event. In this upload, we are going to talk about the big spoiler that supposedly broke out last night. The men's Elimination Chamber winner, who WWE has supposedly penciled in. Everybody's talking about it. Is this the right call? A lot of fans believe it's just to throw us off the path because it's such a wild card. Out of all the names in that chamber match, that's not probably who you'd have winning. We'll talk about it, and I want to make this very clear in this cold open teaser. I like this dude. I've always said, if I had the creative pen, he always has a phenomenal storyline. It's not AJ Styles, by the way, but a phenomenal storyline at all times. He'll have championships. He'll have main events. I don't even have a problem with this dude having a feud with Cidy Rhodes. I like it. This is not how you do it. You don't just win a chamber or a tournament, and that's how you go for the title. You could make this special. This, if given the proper time and investment and resources, could be a very good feud. You don't want to just have this dude win a chamber match and then in one month try to get a really good story between the two. It's not the time for it. That's the problem. A lot of us respect this dude. We don't even mind this person and Cody having a feud. It's the timing of it and how we get there. You don't want to just blow it off in 1 month because this dude won a chamber match. You could do something way better. And you don't want to look at the names in there. Stop. For those thinking Hunter's just trying to throw everybody off the path, it's not actually going to be this dude. This is the same individual that had Jason Uso win the Royal Rumble just so he can beat Gunther, of all people, take the title, and we can all yeet at WrestleMania. Jey Uso won the Rumble. So it's very, very possible that they could try to go with this avenue. It just doesn't, none of it makes sense. It's not the best matches you can have for Mania. It's not the most marketable. It's not the highly promoted ones that are going to drag the casuals back. I don't understand any of this. We're going to talk about it. We're also going to talk AEW's Dynamite rating. Were they able to go up from last week's 568? That was depressingly bad. We'll talk about it. A talent from AEW is not re-signing with the company. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about two big names heading over to WWE. They're getting ready for their arrival. The problem is there any room for these two big names? Are they going to wind up like an Andrade and so many others that came back? We thought, hey, this could be good. Is it? I don't know too much that Andrade. I'm just using him as an example because these individuals are going to fall into the same category as far as good mid-card talent, possible to be main event, maybe. You'd have to have the right booking. We'll talk about it. The third hour of SmackDown. Oh, we have a big update on that, or maybe lack thereof. The latest update. We'll talk. We'll just say that. The latest update. And then we will discuss. What else do we discuss? Well, whatever else I want to discuss. That's your cold open teaser. That's it. That's a wrap on the teaser. Before we get going, obviously another swig of my Folgers. My Folgers double shot. The best part of waking up. It's Folgers in your cup. Folgers, it's in your motherfucking cup. Before we get that going, it is indeed Friday, so it is time for Friday Headlines. A new segment we're going to start doing every single Friday on Amped Up. All the biggest, weirdest stories in the world. We're going to go over some of them while we have a few swigs of coffee. Friday Headlines. We'll start with this story. This is wild. You guys know, man, eggs. The price for eggs is astronomical. I mean, people are flying by even if there are eggs, they're going right past it because they don't got the $86 to buy a carton. So get this story. This is a true story, by the way. 100,000 eggs have been stolen from a Pennsylvania farm. 100,000 eggs. I wonder if they're planning on eating them or just redistributing, like sell them themselves, make a lot of profit. I guess that makes the most sense. 100,000 eggs stolen from a Pennsylvania farm. Now, a little bit of good news to this story, as it seems that one egg was able to get away. He got away. I'm proud of that one. I am. Old school fans, they know that egg. They know that one. He must have just hatched right before the heist. Must have hatched and he's like, I'm out of here. We all know how that story ended. He tried to escape and Vincent Kennedy caught him. You're going to be at the Survivor Series. You're going to be my egg. Vince has a fascination with egg. Remember not too long ago, he was holding a golden egg with Austin Theory? That was bizarre. Anyway, hope they find those 100,000 eggs, man, or at least they get eaten. You know, there's a sell-by date. 100,000 eggs. If one person took all those eggs, somebody's got to want them to go to waste. Not in today's market. How about this one? Black tar. Black tar is engulfing Florida beaches. And the cause of this black tar remains a mystery somehow. Now, authorities do say that there was a suspicious individual walking one of the beaches, but as of now, they cannot make a direct correlation. I don't know how you can. Look at the dude. You have black tar on the beach. You look at this. There's a correlation. Something tells me, investigate that dude. He's probably a producer of black tar. Again, that one's probably for old school fans. How about this one? Prosecutors say that a golden toilet went missing from a royal palace in England. A golden toilet just vanished. A real whodunit. Golden toilet from a royal palace. You'd think there'd be some type of security. It's a royal palace. Now, thanks to a photo tip, investigators believe they do know who did it. I'm just saying, like, that's if a golden toilet just got taken and I'm surveying the royal fields and I see that dude running off, I probably know who took the golden toilet. Looks kind of down on his luck, that individual. Moving on. A judge is now sentencing Walmart shoplifters to wash cars in the Walmart parking lot. So you shoplift from Walmart, you get caught. The judge brings you right back to that Walmart to wash cars. That's an interesting concept. Now, subsequently, Walmart business just went up 65%. That's something. They didn't think about that, did they? They didn't think, yes, women shoplift as well. They didn't think that one through. Then again, I doubt that the sheriff or whoever is overseeing the shoplifters, I don't know if they'd let them dress like that, would they? That would be some booming business for Walmart. Could you imagine that type of car wash? Ah, damn. You see those women in there, man. The local competitors, they'll be complaining. The competition, thanks to Walmart, is now stiff. All right, that's it. Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. We'll do it again next Friday. Thank you. Friday headlines. All right, let's move on. Let's talk about it. Where do you guys want to go first? Do you guys want to start with the big story, the supposed spoiler on who is winning the men's Elimination Chamber? Let's start off with that one. You're not going to believe this, man. It's not that we don't respect the dude and we don't want to even see a good feud with Cody, but what are you doing, man? Shock value just for shock is a detriment, not something that is a pillar for success in the future. What do I mean? Let's get a swig and talk about it. It's no longer the cold open teaser, so I can just spit out a name. It is indeed Drew McIntyre, said to win tomorrow night's Chamber event for the dudes. Now, on one hand, yeah, you absolutely want to say, dude, I like Drew, and we always say, BC, we want the best for the dude, put him in good storylines. I'm cool with him having a championship. Him and Cody in a feud, that'd be fun. Absolutely agree to all of that. All of that. So most of us can say that. But there's a flip side, massively. Guys, that's not the most captivating, fun, intriguing moment to end the show tomorrow night. If Drew McIntyre wins this match and we go off the air, that's lackluster. Drew had a good feud with CM Punk last year while Punk was injured, mind you. So all Punk had to do was show up and just make it as good as imaginable. There was no creative you could even put behind that, right? We can't even put this on Hunter. You just have them show up and they have to create something between them two. They have to create the magic, and Drew and Punk did that. But ever since, Hunter has no idea what to do with Drew. So he's just kind of floundering and having weird segments with a Sethington or Sami Zayn, quietly moving over to a blue brand or a green brand. Who knows? It's all over the place. And then out of nowhere, he's just going to win the Chamber because it's shock value. Just shocking people is not always the best. It's not the best way to go. Unpredictability can be really good. It can also be a detriment. The problem most people have with Jey Uso winning the Rumble isn't necessarily straight up just Jey Uso winning the Royal Rumble. It is Jason Uso, the booking of it to get to that point. Losing to Gunther a week before on Saturday night's main event, clean, looking up at the lights, and all of a sudden he's Superman, wins the Rumble, and now he's going to yeet in front of 60, 70,000 people at Mania with the title hoisted up high as he defeats Gunther. It's Jey Uso to beat Gunther, of all people, when Gunther already took care of him a couple of times now. It's the way that we went about it that just leaves a bad taste in fans' mouth. It doesn't make sense. It's not the funnest way to go. It's not intriguing to them. That's a problem for fans, man. We just can't jump on the Jey Uso bandwagon because yeeting is fun and his merchandise sales are up 16%. Drew McIntyre wins. Okay, we get to say, oh, he deserves it, right? That's what you're going to hear the next night. You deserve it. And everybody gets to go, oh, Drew, man, I like Drew, and I think this could be, of course. But him winning the Elimination Chamber and having a 1 month build to Cody Rhodes, that is so weird, man. Drew and Cody for your marquee Mania match, and the flip side is Jey Uso versus Gunther. Yeah, that is a weak-ass WrestleMania. If you had built this up for a few months now, Drew and Cody, it could be much more special. But don't be shocked when a lot of fans tell you that Drew is just a weird way to go. I'm totally down with that type of a feud, Cody and Drew. But start it the right way. Not, oh, I want a tournament, or oh, I want a Rumble. Oh, I want a Chamber so I get to face Cody. That should be a real feud that has a spark to ignite it. And then you spend, this is where you tap in to some longer-term storytelling. And if done correctly, man, the payoff will be amazing. But you don't have Drew just win this gimmick match, and in 1 month, there's the matchup for Mania, the grandest stage of them all, with 1 month of build because Drew won a prize. He won the Chamber. It's weird. If you guys are totally down with it, cool, man. Salute. Don't be surprised that a lot of fans are looking at this just like Jey Uso. It's not that we don't respect the dude. It's not that we don't want the best booking. It is so weird because Hunter did not properly put him in the spots to do such. It's not rocket science, guys. We're not asking you to move mountains to create a lane for common sense and logic. Don't overcomplicate this. You already planted the seeds 2 months ago with CM Punk and Cody, and it was a really good promo, and then Hunter just went away from it. Unfortunately, that's the only match left that makes sense for Cody. It doesn't look like it's going to be The Rock with 1 month of build. That would be weird. And The Rock has already ruined it anyway. Every time he has a segment with Cody, plants seeds of animosity or some mystery. 20 minutes later, he's doing a press conference exposing the whole segment, talking about how afterwards they were smashing some tequila, laughing and hugging it out. Rock doesn't make any sense anymore. It's not even captivating. Dwayne Johnson ruined it. Who's left? Roman going to come back and in 1 month try to spark part 3 of Cody and Roman? Randy Orton? Much too late. Randy Orton comes back at the Chamber and you have 1 month to set up Cody and Randy. That's another one, just like Drew and Cody. That should have a spark to ignite it that leads for several months. Get that story lightning white hot and then get the payoff. Not in 1 month. Randy Orton hasn't even been around. There's nobody. You're not going to do Seth Rollins and Cody for the 19th time. Logan Paul is going to go for Cody's championship. That would set absolute outrage in the community, which is why Hunter could go that route. John Cena and Cody is what everybody was thinking. I don't see that at all. You passed off John Cena getting Gunther's championship to go for Cody. It's bad enough that CM Punk and Cody is face versus face, but that's all Hunter sets up anyway, and that's what he set up 2 months ago. CM Punk and Cody. But Cena and Cody makes absolutely no sense. What the fuck is it? If Cena's winning a championship, why do it over Cody and not Gunther? Just so Jey Uso can yeet with 70,000? Try to have a Kofi Mania moment? Or a Yes Movement moment? It's stupid. They overcomplicated this. John Cena wins the Rumble. Boom. Him and Gunther go for the 17. Not at SummerSlam. Not in Saudi Arabia. Not later in the year when he only has 4 dates left. Or Mania. He captures that title. And then for Cody's championship, you set up Punk already anyway, so Punk wins the Chamber. Instead, Jason Uso wins the Rumble and everything is off kilter. So now Hunter's probably tripling down and just going, you know what, Drew, just win the Chamber. We'll have a totally unpredictable, shocking double main event. Gunther versus Jey Uso and Cody versus Drew McIntyre. Who's getting excited about as much as we like Drew? What the fuck? That's your double main event for Mania. Jason Uso and Drew McIntyre going for the titles. If you book them the right way leading into it, maybe. But don't be stunned when a lot of fans are going, this is stupid. I like Drew. You guys know that. I pull for Drew nonstop. I can't wait to see the great things he does and the championships he wins and all the accolades. Him winning the Chamber tomorrow night is just mind-bogglingly stupid. WrestleMania has to start feeling like it. Just plopping Drew in there with Cody with 1 month of storytelling? What, are they going to brawl every week? We don't see enough of that. It's already stupid. It's already off kilter. You're going to have to go with the face versus face CM Punk Cody. Don't overcomplicate this, man. Everybody wins here. CM Punk gets to check off that Mania main event. I just don't. I don't see this. This is you guys can look it up yourself. This is the spoiler that is out there in the wrestling world. I'm not just creating that out of thin air. That's the spoiler. Behind the scenes, Drew is supposed to win. Some people think it's just throwing everybody off the trail. It's not actually going to be, but make you think that. Others think that that's just what they're kind of leaning toward, but they don't have any idea until hours before, which is what happened at the Rumble. That's possible too. So that's the discussion. That's the most amplified honesty I can give you guys, man. I'm totally down with Cody and Drew. Last minute, because that's what this is. That's a month away. And Drew's going to get to Cody by winning a Chamber. No, you don't need to blow off the Chamber like that. Drew can be a diabolical heel that begins a feud without a gimmick match, so spend that on somebody else. Drew doesn't need that to start a feud with Cody. They're on the same brand now anyway, right? I think Drew did go to the blue brand. They don't even follow that anyway. Drew can be wherever he could show up on NXT, he could show up in AEW at this point. I don't think they would even notice. My point is, you can start that with, so you don't need to waste an entire Chamber match to get to Drew and Cody. You set up Punk anyway. Punk is on Raw. Cody's on SmackDown. This is the way to do it. This is a way for Punk to get to Cody and to have a face versus a face that can semi-make sense and sell tickets. That's all I'll say about it. I don't want to start running in circles, start giving you guys word salad. It's just, it's just mind-boggling. Some of the decisions, it's like they overcomplicate it to a point where you have to start asking, are they sabotaging this industry, this company on purpose? Like is Vince in Hunter's ear? Like this is how you bring it all down. You bring it all down and we'll rebuild something new. Right? Hunter and Vince start a new company in 5 years. I don't know, man. I'm just, obviously, I don't want to believe that's actually happening, by the way. But it's almost like some of the decisions, you got to believe this is just sabotage for the sake of boredom. Let's have fun with it. Let's put Jay in there. Let's look at everyone's faces. Hey, what if Cena, Punk, all them, none of them win? Give it to Drew. But I'll tell you this, I'll take Drew over Logan Paul and Seth Rollins easily. Easily. Yeah. But then 1 month of, man, you can't do that. Maybe I'm just too creative and I know the story that Drew and Cody should have and I know how it should begin. And it's not just, the diabolical heel won an opportunity for the champion. No, that's not fun. That doesn't put Drew in any diabolical heel category. Let's move on, guys. That's my conversation on it. Swig of coffee. Let's switch gears over to AEW. A superstar is not a superstar. A wrestler. We're talking AEW now. A wrestler is not going to be re-signing with the company. And I also have the rating, the number for this week's Dynamite. Did it go up from last week's abysmal number of 568? Let's talk all about it. And then we'll switch gears back over to WWE. I have a big update on the 3-hour format of SmackDown. Is it a big update? Well, the latest update. So, Layla Hirsch will not be re-signing with AEW. Now, that's to some of you guys, that's like, who cares, man? She was lost in the show. Layla Hirsch is a little pit bull. Layla Hirsch is an ass kicker, man. She's actually really good. If I had the creative pen, I've said this for a while now, I would have had her in about 12 big storylines already. I know exactly how I would have done it. I know with which other females. But I understand a lot of fans just don't really connect. But Layla Hirsch, it's sad that some of the things that I would have liked to have seen out of Layla, I'm not going to be able to. It's still unclear on whose decision it is, but it looks like it was more Layla's decision. But it looks like they're going to let the contract run out and then Layla will not be reset. That's the latest word we're getting anyway. Now, for those thinking Layla going over to WWE, they already have their own issues with the women's division. I mean, Ivy Nile looked like that's their residential pit bull, right? Layla Hirsch would be the pit bull over in AEW. The little pit bull for WWE would be Ivy. And they don't know what they're doing with Ivy. Ivy has a number one contenders match out of nowhere for Val's IC championship, and she loses to Dakota Kai. And WWE knew they fumbled that, by the way. BC was so adamant and vocal about that on that review. Like, how do you mess that up just to get to a face versus face Dakota versus Val match? That was a rematch from a few weeks earlier when Val initially got the IC title. So why would you not just set up Ivy versus Val for Mania? And if you did that correctly a few weeks ago, you would have had a badass storyline going already. But instead, they fumbled, gave it to Dakota. So then this past Monday, they had Ivy go out there and attack Val and Dakota, I believe. But go out there and cause disruption. So it's almost like, all right, we fumbled, we botched, but all right, we're putting Ivy back into the picture. Then why waste 2 weeks, man? If you just do things correctly the first time, you won't have to worry about using the whiteout or the eraser. Just think, man. That's all we're asking. Just think this through. You had Dakota and Ivy. The goal is to get to Val. That's what they set up anyway. Okay, this is easy. We have already seen Dakota versus Val, so that's off the table. Plus, it's face versus face, so it makes no sense. And Ivy needs something. She's needed something for 2 years now. Oh, there you go. Ivy now, it can be a diabolical heel. Ivy can now go for Val's championship, and Val now has if you book Ivy correctly, like this badass heel, this little pit bull heel, Ivy now has somebody or Val now has somebody she can work with that is a heel. And you can't be a good babyface and get the reaction that you're hoping for if you're not working with a really good heel. Ivy can be that if given the chance. My point is that one decision threw everything off. And then you get Dakota and Val. And that ends the same way their first match ended. Dakota looking up at the lights, same way. So then Ivy goes out, and now you just muddy the waters, because now how do you give Ivy a title match at Mania if that's what they're going to do? Just beat her up, and now it's like, all right, you lost that number one contender, but Adam Pearce is like, you guys are going to go for the title anyway. It just makes it harder for yourself to tell that story. You know, I said earlier, Drew McIntyre just winning an Elimination Chamber to go for Cody Rhodes. No, that makes zero sense. It only gives you 1 month build too, by the way. But Drew, you don't waste a gimmick match of that magnitude on Drew. Drew can set up a Cody storyline a billion other ways that you don't need to use up the chamber in the process. But with Ivy, you make this weird match as it is, weeks before the chamber. Yeah, absolutely you can have Ivy win that. And then go on to screw with Val before she even gets that title match. Hopefully that makes... It's just being creative. It's just thinking things through, man. Common sense and logic before you put the pen to paper and make the final decisions. Anyway, that's my rant on Ivy. You already have those type of wrestlers there in WWE. You can't be bringing over Layla Hirsch's and such. It's unfortunate to say that, but they have to find out how to book their own talent first. And that brings us to our next story, guys. 2 big stars coming over to WWE. One of them returning. And everyone's getting excited. WWE, the latest report we're getting is they are preparing for their entries into the company. To which BC is like, where you putting them? What are you possibly doing with Malachi, Aleister Black, and Rey Fenix? I know. Oh, man, BC, you said it all along, man. Like, Malachi, you see superstar in this dude. He could be a main eventer. He could hold the titles. More than anything, by the way, I said storyline. I look at Malachi, I look at Aleister, and I'm thinking storylines. I don't even care about titles up front. I'm thinking of how many stories I can put this dude in. And Rey Fenix, great talent, obviously, in the ring and all the moves and the whoa and the this is awesome. I get it. Where are you putting them? Penta had a really good debut. Everyone's like, whoa, Penta. Guys, it's been over a month already, and it's just weird redundancy with Penta. Every week he's in there doing something weird with Butch, Pete Dunne, and now Ludwig Kaiser. And to the point where they had this weird triple threat. Nothing was on the line. It was just very odd. They just put 3 dudes in there. 2 heels for some reason. Butch and Ludwig in a match with Penta at the same time. And they actually had the heel pin the heel. Ludwig pinned Butch, Pete Dunne. So in the process, in the books, Penta collected an L. I don't know what they're doing with. It's just like, why not have a story ready for the dude rather than pointless redundancy matchups? Because that's all it is. It's pointless redundancy. And it leads to nothing. The fans are not excited for this, right? Like next week, Pete Dunne versus Penta again. This time Ludwig. Ludwig is going to be at ringside. Who's getting excited for this? Nobody. It's weird. Andrade comes back. What is Andrade doing? I don't even know. I could not even tell you. That's not even just for entertainment purposes in this upload for this podcast. No, I don't know what Andrade's doing. I haven't known what he's doing. The biggest headline that Andrade has gotten since coming back to WWE was recently with the headline reading him and Charlotte Flair have separated. They have gotten a divorce. That's sad to say. It sucks to say that. But that's the biggest headline. Andrade hasn't been in anything. Nothing. Hunter tried to do this weird filler thing so he didn't have to worry about them for 2 months. Him and Mello. Remember they had like a best of 7 series? I think it was with Andrade, right? You talk about lazy booking. Yes, for the next 2 months, you guys will face each other. That's the storyline. It's a best of 7. Yeah. So Come back in 2 months and maybe I'll have something else for you. I'm just giving you guys some names, man. Where are you putting all these people? They can't even give Chad Gable the proper booking that he has earned for years now. Where's Malachi and Ray Phoenix? All of these wrestlers on LFG or down at the Performance Center. All these schools that they're working with, putting on their WWE logo outside on the window. Where's all these wrestlers going? Why is WWE recruiting 8,000 wrestlers at a time? It's too much. Simplify it. Less is more sometimes. It is quality over quantity. We went into a whole different topic, man. That's just some of my frustrations on the bloated rosters in today's pro wrestling and how it's just a detriment. And there's too much going on and too many individuals, and you got to find TV time for everybody. And that brings us full circle to the story that we were just talking about, which is now Malachi's coming back. Alistair, cool. Ray Phoenix is going to come in, cool. Hunter's not going to know what to do with either of them, so he's going to put Phoenix with Penta. They're going to be in a tag team in a non-existent tag team division. And after some, whoa, this is awesome matchups, within a few months' time, there'll just be another tag team in a sorry-ass division. Sad to say. Verdict is still out on what they're going to do with Aleister Black. But I see so much talent in him creatively, storyline-wise. Problem is, Helmsley's not that creative and can't tell good stories. That's a problem, if you're Aleister Black. But WWE planning on Ray Phoenix and Aleister's debuts. Back over to AEW, the Dynamite rating for this week. Dynamite pulled 598K. That is up from last week's 563,000, guys. 6% increase. So listen, is it abysmally bad? Is it depressingly bad? Yes, 598. But I always say on this channel, as long as you're going in the right direction, that's good. Right direction, not the other way. So 598, up 6%, 73, 83, 93, 35,000 viewer increase. Of course, you got Revolution around the corner, some big events as they steamroll into the spring. And yeah, when their average used to be 950 and now you can't get the 600, it's not good. It's not good. When I see these shows, I'm not seeing it as bad as so many people have claimed it is, like the Bischoffs in the community. I don't see that. I definitely see some bad television throughout the show. I see some things that should not be on the show, or at least switched up, some things rearranged, no question. But I see some good stuff too, man. Like if you're going to compare it to like a Monday Night Raw, guys, you guys know how I feel about Raw. No, I don't need to see a heel pinning a heel like we saw Monday, Ludwig over Butch. I don't need to see a face pinning a face like Val over Dakota like we saw already, and then we saw a rematch of the same thing this week. I don't need to see two individuals setting up a match next week for a championship, face versus face, Io and Rhea Ripley for some reason. Two more faces. I don't need to see the heel versus the heel, Braun Breaker and Dominic Mysterio. That's all we saw Monday. Nothing but face and face, heel and heel combos. That's not good. It's not creative. It's not fun. So some of the stuff I saw on Dynamite, yeah, man. Ospreay taking off, catapulting up to the skybox. Yeah, pretty cool. And of course, MJF taking out Christopher Daniels in the back and Hangman Page rushing off. MJF got the best of them. You know, there's some things to work on, but they have a long way to go. And the first step is trying to get the audience that you lost back. And they have not done that yet. 598. So we'll see. But Monday Night Raw, same thing. Their new average is 1.1 on Netflix. 1.1. So don't get too carried away. If they drop to about 900,000 and AEW is able to get to 758, guys, could you believe that they'd be 150,000 away from one another? That's what I mean. That's how fast that can change up. AEW just has to get their footing down. AEW needs to pull their own heads, or WWE needs to pull their own heads out of their asses. They've been around for decades, and WWE Raw's at a 1.1. Netflix was supposed to bring this global viewership. That's at a 2.8, more than half of the audience that debuted for the Raw debut on Netflix. That's gone. More than half, guys. The global viewership is at a 2.8. It's sad, man. I don't even like reporting those numbers. That is depressingly sad. Raw and AEW. I'd say the same for SmackDown. They've plateaued at a 1.3 to 1.4, but The Rock was able to catapult that to like a 1.6 some odd, maybe even a 1.7. So that's why they promoted it beforehand. Try to get that viewership, and of course it's going to work. And then The Rock, 20 minutes after his segment, totally exposed the segment and the storyline, and it all went to shit. So it was all for nothing. But as long as it stroked the dude's ego, that's what matters, man. It's always funny. If you get Hunter and Rock together, two of the biggest egos in the industry, and like, it's a power trip, right? Hunter's trying to like be the Vince McMahon, now I'm in charge, but when Dwayne comes in, no, I'm the boss. So then Hunter kind of has to like dumb it down a little bit, suck in that chest and put your head down and say, yes, sir. That's an interesting dynamic. They can claim they're good buddies, but man, I love when the press conference, Dwayne says, Hunter gives me some of the things that he'd like done, and I tell him what I want done, and we talk about it, and yeah. He shuts up and we do what I want to do. That's basically what he was saying, right? Like, Hunter gives me what he's thinking, and I say, oh, that's adorable. And then I tell him what I want to do. 598,000 Dynamite. We'll talk, the 3 hours on SmackDown. Speaking of, this is just a mess. So SmackDown, apparently, nobody has any idea when it is being, the third hour is being taken off, and if it is going to be for good. We originally heard June, but that has been removed off the table. When asked for comment, WWE said, well, we're not sure right now. USA Network, NBC Universal, Comcast was then asked. NBC is like, we don't know yet. We'll keep you updated. You don't know if your show is going to remain 3 hours or if it goes to 2. Is it coming back? Because that's what some word, was it Meltzer, I believe? I think Meltzer was hearing like it could go back to 3 even if it goes to 2. NBC did not rule that out. WWE refused to comment. So what are we doing? 3 hours on a Friday night is brutal. There are many weeks where Raw is worse than SmackDown, but because it's Friday night and it's 3, there's something about Friday night. Maybe we're all just drained from the week. But 3 hours on Friday many times can seem like even more of a chore. Somehow, can't believe I'm saying this, than Monday Night Raw. And Raw is now down to 2.5 hours. So that's the latest I got for you guys, man. It might not be dropping the 2, and even if it does, it could come right back to 3 hours at any time. Sounds like USA wants that third hour. And because WWE isn't giving them good ratings for 2 hours, that third hour can help bring in what the 2 hours should be. I hope that makes sense. So in other words, if they were getting 2 hours of like even 2-0, guys, like Fox was pulling 2-1, 2-2, you're going to lose a few 100,000. Your cable, they get it. But if you could pull 1-8, 1-9-2, maybe it would definitively be 2 hours. But because they're pulling in 1-3s and 1-4s, the third hour is clutch for advertisement. Their hope is that it just doesn't keep losing viewers like Raw has been on Netflix. So that's their big issue there. Yeah, we'll just leave it at that, man. This kind of went a little bit longer. Yeah, I had a couple more stories I could have went, but we're going to keep it right there, man. We are going to get ready for Elimination Chamber tomorrow. You got SmackDown tonight. I would like to anyway. Even though Chamber is tomorrow evening, I would like to get a review out for you guys. A special weekend edition of Amped Up featuring the SmackDown review, the go-home show to the Chamber. So that's what we'll try to do until next time. And there will be that next time. BC in the unit saying check you. Salud.